Assalamualaikum everyone. Today I would like to explain to you new topic on the defamations. This is under subtopic of law of thoughts. Okay, before we proceed with the explaining more on this subtopic, you need to know what are the learning objective for today's lecture. At the end of the lessons today, students should be able to first to understand what is meant by defamations and the elements that involve in proving defamations. Second, students should be able to identify all the elements of defamations. And third, students should be able to apply the legal principles to the given facts and demonstrate critically when answering problematic questions. Okay, the third learning outcomes or objective here is very important because at the end of the lessons, you must be able to apply the elements of defamations into the given facts or situations. Right, what is a defamation? Defamation is a branch of tort. Okay. This is also similar with the negligence, whereby you need to prove the elements of defamations in order to take actions against the default party. So according to Winfield, defamation is the publication of a statement which tends to lower a person in the estimations of right-thinking member of the society generally. This is where, when you publish a statement in a newspaper and then this statement tends to lower a person's reputations, so this is considered as defamation. When the acts of injuring a person's character or reputations, so this is also known as defamation. So sources of law for defamation in Malaysia is governed by common law. Common law is where we refer to the common law cases, and this is our principal legislations that govern defamation. Defamation Act 1957. But please take note that this statute is only governed for civil claims only. Okay, so the rationale, aim of law, we need to protect a person's good name and reputations. So this is important as not to allow others to post statements which can affect the individual's reputations in the society. Examples of defamations. First, A tells B that C is a dishonest and selfish person who likes to take advantage of those around him. Second, alleging that a businessman is bankrupt. Third, suggesting that a professional is acting unprofessionally and unethically. Fourth, alleging that a man is young. So these are the various examples of defamations. So these statements can be regarded as defamation. Alright, defamation can be divided into two types. First is libel. What is libel? Later I'll explain more. And then second type of defamation known as slander. And then elements of defamations. There are three elements that must be fulfilled by the plaintiff. First, the words are defamatory. Sometimes we are using words or sometimes we are using statements, but they are similar, right? Okay, second element, words must be referred to the plaintiff. And third, words must be published. And there are several defenses that allocates for the defendants. First is consent, justifications, fair comment, privilege, unintentional unintentional defamations, innocent dissemination, or innocent publication. Okay, we proceed with the explanations of the types of defamations. Okay, for libel and slander, both are thoughts and crimes. Alright, for libel. Libel means a defamation in a permanent form. On the other hand, it is a written or printed defamation, visible to the eye. When a person's character has been defamed in written form, which includes permanent visual and audio recordings, publications, and etc. For example, written form or printed defamation such as pictures, statues, effigies, figure of persons, and in order to claim for libel, it is an actionable per se, means that plaintiff need not to prove damage. Alright, so just prove the defamatory words. The second types of defamation known as slander. Slander means spoken defamations. So it occurs when a person's character has been defamed verbally, which includes spoken words, gestures, sounds, etc. And please take note that this is different from libel. Slander is not an actionable per se. Plaintiff needs to prove actual or spatial damage to succeed in his actions. Actual damage means actual financial loss or any loss that may be measured in monetary terms. So, the plaintiff must prove that, as a result of slander made by the defendant, he suffered financial loss. For example, loss of business, loss of employment, loss of chance to attend social functions that may be measured in monetary terms. In other words, the key words here is monetary terms. Alright, so there are three elements of defamations that must be established by the plaintiff. First, the words are defamatory, the words must be referred to the plaintiff, and the words must be published. Based on Section 2 of the Defamation Act 1957, it states that words include pictures, visual image, gestures, and other methods signifying meaning afterwards. And words also refer to statement. Okay, we move on to the first elements of defamations. Okay, under the first elements, it is a duty of the plaintiff to prove that the defendant made a false and defamatory statements against him. So, he must prove there was a false and defamatory statements. There was a defamation against him. And words may be defamatory in three ways. First, based on natural and ordinary meaning, based on innuendo, and third, based on juxtaposition. Okay, for the first types of defamatory words is on a natural and ordinary meaning. The words by themselves as understood by ordinary men of ordinary intelligence have a tendency to make people shun or avoid the plaintiff. Okay, so when the statement falls under the first type of defamatory words, means that the meaning based on the general knowledge. Okay, based on the statements, people may avoid the plaintiff. Okay, you may refer to the case of Ayub bin Saud against T.S. Sambatanamurti. What happened in this case is that the plaintiff, a land surveyor who had valued the defendant's land, received a copy of letters sent by the defendant to the third party which stated, "I am surprised that a Chinese surveyor had charged 1,450 ringgits, whereas a Bumiputra asked 4,480 ringgits, which is a daylight robbery." So these are the statements made by the defendants via letter. And then this letter was sent to the third party. Okay, refer to the court held. The court held that the words used are of general abuse. It means that the surveyor in general, and they did not have the tendency to reasonable men to avoid the plaintiff, and therefore the words are not defamatory. So in this case, okay, the court concluded that the words used by the defendants here is very general. Okay, so it refers to the surveyor in general, and therefore it is not constitute as defamations. Okay, I'll give you one illustrations of how words can be defamatory in its natural and ordinary meanings. Okay, look at here. We have Puan Mariana. Puan Mariana is a school teacher. Okay, one day there was a statement published in a newspaper regarding her. Okay, it stated that Puan Mariana recently bought a luxurious bungalow for 20 million ringgit. Okay, based on the statements here, there are two circumstances. First, the statement above may not be a defamatory under its natural meaning. Okay, so normal. Okay, anybody can buy a bungalow, right? Alright. However, for the second circumstance, those who knew Puan Mariana, who was employed as a teacher, then the statement may be understood that she involved in corruptions. Maybe, right? So it is difficult for a school teacher to buy such a luxurious bungalow. So based on the second circumstance, they compare with the salary obtained by Puan Mariana. Okay, how could that she possible to buy a luxurious bungalow for 20 million ringgits? Alright, so these statements can be regarded as defamatory words in its natural meanings according to the second circumstance. Right. Okay, the second types of defamatory words is innuendo. Innuendo means indirect. Okay, the statement itself is indirect and unpleasant remark. Sometimes a defamatory imputations does not arise from literal meanings of words, but by special facts or circumstances known by recipients or reader of the words. Just now, under ordinary meanings, based on the natural meanings, okay, when we read the statements, obviously we will avoid the plaintiff. That was for the number one. Okay, but for innuendo, this is indirect statement, okay, that lead to defamations. Alright, innuendo can be divided into two, false and a true or legal innuendo. Okay, for false innuendo, it is arise from combinations of statements or pictures. Okay, and the words speaks for themselves. Okay, I continue with the next video because time is not sufficient here.